Hello everyone, this is Fidelis Uzoma. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about yet again the Afrika Kommt Assessment Center, and I'm basically going to providing some tips for you on how best to ace this interview and basically to be extremely successful and a high priority candidate for this program. So welcome on board once again. Let me first and foremost, congratulate you for making it thus far. I know that this is coming from a very sincere and sincere place. I think that you did a lot of work and you deserved to be here, right? So own this experience, own this interview, own this space, and let me just put it out there, you are definitely a potential candidate for this program. For you to get this far, you're definitely a potential candidate for this program. So congratulations once more. I have got a couple of requests from some of you who wanted me to provide 1 or 2 tips for this program, the assessment center. And I thought that, yes, let me just sit down to really think, do some research, do some curation from some of my fellow Afrika Kommt alumni, from the fellows, from resources out there, and curate. And it basically use some of the few things that worked for me, curate some of those things here and share them to you so that you can basically use it for your own benefits. Again, so welcome on board. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. We are basically trying to democratize opportunities for people. In this channel, we are providing tips and resources for young people out there. So please support this channel. Share this resource with people who might need it, like it, click on the notification button so that whenever I'm dropping new videos about fellowships, opportunities, career tips, job tips, and all of that, you can always get them. So so right away, let's get to it. So the first on this is I want to talk about the virtual assessment center. It's important to know that the assessment center itself basically was, or used to be a physical assessment center. Literally, it was mostly located in Nairobi, Kenya, and you were going to be given, the opportunity to travel all the way to Kenya. You'll be accommodated. You'll be given all the resources you need to stay there to go through an interview phase for about 2 to 3 days or thereabouts, right? But thanks to COVID, and we had a whole disruption. So what that means is that everything had to go digital, and that's why it's now called the virtual or the digital assessment center. What is the assessment center? You're probably going to be told, they're going to give you a whole idea about what this whole is all about, but basically it's just an interview phase, and that is not just involving an hour or 2, but a couple of days, basically, right? And it's an assessment. The Germans call it assessment most times because, that's the best way they can assess you if you are, the right person for this program. If you want to get more information about what the program is all about, all right, that is Afrika Kommt, all right. In my former video, somewhere, just click on my YouTube channel. I, said a whole lot about what the Afrika Kommt Fellowship is all about, what you can benefit from it. But one thing I can tell you for sure as a way to remind you is the fact that it's worth, the fight. You're going to be given a lot of resources to help you have a personal and professional development experience journey. There'll be funding for your flights. There'll be accommodation free. There'll be health insurance. There'll be stipends for you at your workplace. There'll be travel grants. There'll be a study tour. There'll be grants for you to learn the German language to at least B or C level. There are a lot of resources and opportunities and that comes with this program, right? And to be honest with you and to be fair, as someone, I am an Afrika Kommt fellow and an alum of the program. I have benefited a whole lot from this program, and that's why I thought it was important to share this with you. So please do not take this for granted. It can be that one opportunity that will change the whole game for you, right? So I want you to take this extremely seriously. So basically, and again, if you're interested in knowing more about the program and what it looked like on a personal basis, right? I wrote in fact, some people said it was a very lengthy journaling, but I wrote a whole experience of what my programs look like for the past 1 year. It's on my LinkedIn page, but I'll probably drop the link in the comments section below or in the description box, right? So please feel free to read it to just have an idea of what the journey looks like. It might give you might basically see yourself also in my personal journey, from how I got into the program, what the interview looks like, what I got from the program, and some of the insights that came with the program, right? So please, somewhere at the description box, I'll probably share there so you can read more about what it looks like. And feel free again to drop like this video, share comments, and let me know if you have questions. So I'm going to be talking about the components of what the assessments will look like. The assessment center has a couple of components. So here I'm going to share that with you. So let's get to it. The fact that you'll be grouped, as I said, is going to be virtual. So you'll be in different groups. So it's good to think ahead and know that these are the things you should expect, whether group A, B, C, or D. And I hear that currently some of you are already getting your what's it called? Already getting your email and invited to from at least for different groups. Some people are getting group A, group B, whatever it looks like, right? But you'll be grouped. The next is the fact that you're going to be told a lot about what Afrika Kommt is about, which I represented with AK, the mission, the goals, and all of that. And if you have questions, please make sure you ask. They're going to be giving you more idea of what the assessment is all about. And the company representatives from the different companies with Afrika Kommt would also be there. So they're going to be introducing themselves, telling you what each of them does in brief, right? And of course, you have question and answer sessions with the alumni body, a few representatives from the alumni body. So I would say expect some of that. Next is you have an essay writing session where you will be given, I think those are personal essays. In the course of this video, I'll talk more about how to go about, giving a very, very bespoke essay that will probably get you chosen for this program. You'll be having individual interviews, especially with the partner companies and representatives from the partner companies. For some of you in this set, I think is a bit unique. Some already having interviews with the partner companies, right? But I think you might still have more in the course of this virtual assessment center. Next is you'll be having individual exercises. Those exercises are in form of like projects, tasks, and they'll need you to come up with unique ideas, and they want to see your thought processes and all of that. They are not basically testing how good you are when it comes to analyzing issues. Yeah. Again, I'll give you more tips on how to address each of these sections. Then you'll be having group exercises, right? So these are the things to look out for in the course of this program. So right away, let's go straight to it so we don't waste our time here. I'm going to be giving some tips, and as I call them, whispers. Whispers basically are things that that are worth considering. And tips here basically are things that if you use them, they'll be very, very useful for you. I want you to know that there are a couple of tips out there. Some of the Afrika Kommt fellows and alum guys are already, curating ideas. So feel free to reach out to them. Combine many resource, right? This is not the one-stop shop for all of these tips. Here is just my take on what worked for me and worked for many other people, and basically combine resource, see what you can do, and as much as possible take it all in and use it to your benefit. So let's go straight to what those tips would look like. Now, I want you to have the right mindset when you're going for this program, and as I said, congratulations for making it thus far. But I want you to know that this is a job, all right? Think about it as a job. The same way you have like first interview, second interview, third interview, even fourth interviews, right? This is what it looks like, right? So once you have it as a job, if you think about it as a job, and not just an ordinary job, an international job where you become like an expert to work with an international organization, you would likely be very prepared. That's why I call it the agile preparation style or methodology, right? Think about it as a job interview. So the first tip for you here is, and this is on a technical basis, because it's going to be digital, right? Make sure if you're going for a physical interview, you're going to make sure that you have all you need to be there. Here, prepare your logistics, which is making sure that you fix any technical issue ahead. Have very good internet. I think Afrika Kommt will reach out to you to ask if you need a computer, if you need data, if you need whatever. So make sure that your internet, please reach out to them. Let them know that you need those things if you really do need them. Don't be shy. If you need a computer, tell them you need a laptop. If you need data, tell them you need data. If you need internet, tell them you need internet, right? They'll work with you to make sure that you get that. And please do not disappoint them. Make sure your internet is bespoke and really good for the assessment. Have a very good microphone, right? You'll be surprised that your voice can be very optimized when you have very good microphones, right? So it's a very great tip. I'm giving you one beautiful tip that I don't give out there, right? Your voice can really be nice if you have a very good microphone, right? So invest and get a good one. Make sure your video quality is good. Don't just use, if your laptop is the type that is blurry and the video isn't the best, look for apps that you can sync. Like for instance, there's this app they call Iruin, I-R-U-I-N. You can, I think, download the app on your phone and download it on your laptop, and it can sync, and it's really clear. It's going to help, right? Just Google to see how you can, fix your video, because your camera would likely be on throughout the program. Avoid noise. Have very good video backdrop. Do not have distracting backdrops. That way, you are basically making yourself very, very success ready. My next tip will be to dress and act professionally. And this is important because if you are going for this interview in real time, in real life, if things were going to be physical, you're going to be dressing professionally. So do the same when you're on the digital space. And I say this because the Germans are very professional people. They are very formal people. So as much as possible, I don't know what it's going to look like for you guys, but I advise that dressing professional always in an interview always gives you keeps you safe. Basically, they might say, yeah, wear casual, whatever. Well, you choose the time, but I think that the best advice for anyone who wants to go for any interfacing is dress and act professionally. Now, for the guys, make sure you have very good haircuts. Make sure you brush your teeth, take your bath, look good, right? Look good. The same way you have good make sure your color is really good. For the girls, you know what you do, to look your best. Speak professionally, act professionally. The act of professionalism, all about making sure that you have good etiquette, poise, respect for people, time, resources, respect, decorum, and all those things that come with the digital space, right? I would say go online and if you can, read about how to be very professional on Zoom calls, Team calls. That way you can get one or two tips. So have that at the back of your mind. My next tip is communicate effectively. I know that this sounds very cliche, but it is one of the most important skills you need for this interview. Effective communication is all about having the right thoughts, having the right ideas, having the right presentation, and delivering those things in a very effective, formal, and structural way. Now, do not forget the backdrop. You're going to be communicating and interfacing with German professionals, right? What do they want? That should be your goal. What do they want? So, and when I talk about communicating effectively, see yourself as somebody who is selling. Okay, that's all you're doing. When you're selling yourself, talk about what you're going to sell. And here you're going to be doing lots of writing, a lot of speaking, a lot of group exercise, and you would always put yourself out there, right? So think about how best to communicate effectively for this interview. Now, to the written essays, and I said, in the components of this program, you're going to be having written essays. They're likely going to be personal written essays, right? My first tip is read and master your submitted application. This is very, very important. You're going to be asked, very likely going to be asked something similar to what you have written in your application. And as I said, most times, interviews are basically to test whether you are the real owner of whatever it is you submitted, right? So go download your scripts, read them, see how you answer those questions, and go about answering them in a written and very effective way. Now, what's the idea to test your written interviews, or your written essay rather, is basically to see how well you communicate in writing, okay? So if you don't know how to write an essay, I would say go learn before your interview. It's very important. I think you might be given an hour. So in our side, they give us an hour or thereabout to just go think, to see how we want to make our thoughts logical. So let me go straight to the tips for this particular component, and let's see. Here I say, write clearly and intelligently. And I wrote that in bold because that, for me, is very important, especially for the kind of climb that you're going to be applying to. The Germans generally like it when you are factual, when you use a lot of logic, when you use data and you're straight to the point, okay? Some of you are storytellers, some of you are creative writers, some of you are bloggers, some of you are whatever it is you do, right? Make sure that you are communicating clearly, formally, straight to the point, and do not forget, answer the question. Answer the question. You might have many questions about what are your expectations for this program? How would you cope, or what would you do in the case of having what you call a culture shock, or in you get to a new environment? How would you cope? You might have questions around, what are your professional competencies, and what do you hope to bring to the program, or what do you hope to get from the program, right? My method that I used to do this most times, so once I know the question before writing, I just write my bullet points, right? This is my first point for my first paragraph, second point for the second paragraph, third point for the fourth paragraph, final points, and conclusion. Now, this is the beauty of when you write logically. You make the reader enjoys and goes on the journey with you, right? So write specifically. Why do you want to join this program, for instance, right? I want to join for this program because, one, say it. Underline it, then explain why you want to write it, give facts, give data, talk about things like, I have seen this program on internet, blah, blah, blah. You can talk about how this has, benefited you or benefited other people in the past. You've communicated to other people, other alumni of the program, and you see that it's extremely beneficial to them. You can talk about that. You can talk about what you will gain, management skills, and how that will translate into you becoming a better professional and you going back to your country to be very effective at what you do. You can talk about the language skills. You can talk about the German culture. So let them see that you've made an effort into understanding what they are, who they are, and what they stand for, right? But write logically, clearly, and effectively. This is very cliche, but it's also important to avoid plagiarism. Plagiarism is basically you copying and pasting some other people's thoughts and essays. Most of these guys have like a natural detector to see and know if these thoughts were original, right? If they are your original thoughts, they don't need to be flagged, right? As far as your personal essays, they will not be flagged. But if you went to one site to dub and copy and all of that, it might actually not help you in the long run. So avoid plagiarism. Next here is practice writing and have a script ahead. So this works for me a whole lot. Some people are really good. They can write on the spot and they're very fluid, but most times because I want to make sure that I have a script mentally, I try to envisage what the questions will look like. And I actually write the essay ahead of the time. Now, this is what it does for me. It has been, and again, this is not for everybody, but there's a research that says that whenever you try thinking about things and you start writing, there's a connection between the brain and the hands. And once you start writing it, sometime in future, because you have already done that into writing, it's easier for you to put your thoughts together, especially within a limited time, right? So practice the art of writing. If you don't know how to write an essay, Google it and practice it ahead of time. So that way it will be fluid and it will be easy for you to do. And have a script ahead to basically guide you. So next, you'll be having one-on-one interviews. Beg your pardon. You'll be having one-on-one interviews and individual exercise with the host company. Okay. Now, this one-on-one interviews, basically, as I said, is to test many things. And we shall go straight to what that looks like. The first and foremost is, and I know this is like super random, but please be punctual and time conscious. Germans are big on punctuality. If an interview is for 9 o'clock and you arrive there by 9 o'clock, you're late. Okay. I know that sounds really weird. You're late. You should be there at least a minimum of 5 minutes before the time. So that shows that you're a punctual person. And that's one thing they value. Do not forget, this is you understanding who these people are, what the company requires, what the culture is all about, right? Because these interviews, your essays, as I said, you must have probably wrote a lot about, what you expect from the program, what the German culture will be like for you, how you will interface with problems, conflicts, how you basically, all those things. That's why I said, go read them. I don't want to go into in-depth analysis of what those questions will look like. Go read them. I also said a lot about in my last video about what the Afrika Kommt fellowship is all about. I think I have a video in one of my channels, so go there and click to see if you want to have more ideas into what that looks like, and all the things you should expect. So I would say yes, be punctual and be time conscious is very important for you, just as you will be in real time when you're in a physical, venue. Next here is speak confidently, but be specific with your answers. All right. When you're having one-on-one interviews, especially with, the host company, when these guys are there, you might be having an interview with the company, the hiring manager of the company rather, or you might be having a few of them, right? Whatever you do, speak confidently, but be specific with your answers. Don't make sure that these guys are following your train of thoughts. Make sure that you have your logic intact and you have exactly what it is you want to deliver. Okay, as I said, make sure you're selling all the time. Next, when it comes to your individual exercise, as I said, you have to be analytical. So it looks like you're going to be given a particular task after that one-on-one interviews. And most times, you know what interviews are. Tell us about yourself, right? I've shared a couple of these tips in my other videos, so please feel free to watch them. My interview with Amazon, my interview with Afrika Kommt, my interview with Atlas Core. I've given all those skills there, so take time to watch it. But again, to summarize it, what they might be asking here is, tell us about yourself, why this program, why do you want to join, let's say SAP, Merck, Bosch, Bayer, and all those German companies. Why do you want to? So make sure you understand why you want to join these guys. More importantly, talk about how you will take all the skills and resources back to Nigeria or to Ghana or to South Africa or to Kenya or to Zimbabwe, to Zambia, to Ethiopia. Just name any of your country. Let them understand that you have a project you're already doing. It's also good because they know that, yes, you are serious about what you're doing. If you have a company you work with, tell them that you sign maybe a partnership, whatever, that you're going back to use all the skills, resources, whatever. to develop your community. If you run a non-profit, good. If you have a startup, fine. If you have a project, fine. The point is, let them see that whatever it is they're going to be learning, you're going to be using it to develop your community. And also let them also see that you are a high potential candidate, right? So to the individual exercise, sorry, I derailed there. To the individual exercise, be analytical. You'll be given a task to analyze. Now, most times, at least this worked for me, and this is what the experience was like for me. It is not for you to come to a logical conclusion. They just want to see your thought process, right? So that's why I said, because Germans are very critical people, they are very logical people, they are straight to the point people. They want to see your thought process, right? So the individual exercise basically is testing your analytical skills. How can you break down a problem? How can you analyze it? How can you come about a conclusion? Because the same way you go about resolving a problem might not be the same way another person will resolve a problem, right? So it's basically testing your problem solving skills mostly. They may give you a business case scenario, they may give you a project to analyze, they may give you whatever, right? The point is, be ready. Just have a case scenario. I would say have a business case and analyze a business case ahead. Anyone. Then that thought process and read how to, analyze a business case scenario, whatever. That thought process should help you in this particular phase. Yeah, so let's get to the group exercise, because in the interest of time, I want to make sure that we can cover the group exercise. Basically, you'll be put into groups, as I said, group A, B, C, D, whatever. And in that group exercise, you guys are going to be given a task. And most times the company representatives will be at the background watching how you guys are able to interact, okay? How you're able to go about achieving the task. The goal most times is to see if you guys have a team spirit, if you are, there's a team bonding skill that you particularly have, and they're going to look out for specific things, okay? Now, those group exercises are not to, make you feel bad that you're not contributing or you are contributing too much or whatever. They just want to see if you're a good team player. And what does it mean to be a good team player? To take up responsibilities, to listen to other people, to be, affectionate, to be empathetic, to, be proactive, but not to be domineering over the whole group, right? Are you a team player? That is basically what the group exercise is going to test. So the first tip here, as I said, is participate actively. It's very important. When I mean active participation, one thing I always tell people is that on virtual platforms, you can quickly know who is participating and who isn't. Now, I'm not saying that you should be the one always raising your hand and always raising your hand and all of that. What I'm saying is that there are many roles whenever they give you a task. You can either be the umpire, you can take notes, but one thing is important. This is my popular quote whenever I'm having, sessions. Leaders take the first seat first. All right. So you can volunteer to be the timekeeper. Another person can volunteer to be the one who will lead the conversation. Another person would make sure they are contributing whenever questions are asked. Another person, you can be the one who is asking the very important questions. The point is they would be observing how everybody is contributing. They want to see if you respect other people. The German environment loves respect for other people, respect for people's thoughts, respect for people's ideas. So how are you able to contribute proactively without dominating the conversation and also giving people a space to thrive, right? Because these are all the leadership potential they want to look for. So participate actively. Next is be inclusive, as I said, right? If you take up the role of an umpire or as a timekeeper, whatever, make sure that everybody is being carried along. One strategy could be the fact that you are the one who is always, looking out for the person who isn't speaking on the group, who isn't participating, who is calling out on the group to say, you know what, we've all made very great point, but let's get the thoughts of X, or this person, who hasn't given the opportunity, something like that. That shows that you have the potential to lead. So be inclusive, be respectful. As I said, respect is basically respecting people's thought, even if you disagree with them, right? Tell them, yeah, I think that's a very brilliant idea, and I think this is a benefit. I, however, also think that 1, 2, 3, 4. But if you just bash people's ideas by saying that, oh, that's a very stupid idea, I don't think that'll work. I don't think that's a professional way to go about, resolving conflict. So they're testing many things, from team building, conflict resolution, to problem solving skills, to initiative, to all those, soft skills in the workplace. All right. So have these major tips at the back of your mind. So basically, those are the major tips I have for you. And as I say, this program is going to be a very great program. If you get into it, you're going to be very successful. Thank you very much for sticking by. If you have any questions or any comments, feel free to write them on the comment box. I would find time to respond to them all. Best of luck, as I say in German, viel Glück. All right. I wish you all the best. All right. Cheers and have a very beautiful Wishing you success in your interview.